Time for Feed Your Family tonight. Mariefiebach to join us with a good plan that can really bail us out as busy parents, right?
Well, that's just it. Everybody has a time when you think that you're going to make something for dinner and your plans all fall apart and you need to feed your family fast. And this is one recipe that you can use to avoid the drive-through. It starts with tortillas, and I often keep them in my freezer, and a can of refried beans. Like, this is nothing fancy, but it will get your family fed fast. And I found that a spatula is the best thing to spread the refried beans on the tortilla. If your family is gluten-free, you could use corn tortillas. I'm using whole wheat today because that's what my family prefers. Any kind of tortilla, and honestly, you can keep them in your freezer and pull them out last minute, which is often what I do because this is kind of what I consider a backup meal.
Nice.
And then it's just a few toppings. You always want to have cheese. My family likes pickled jalapenos because they're kind of spicy and they have a little bit of acid, and so I always chop pickled jalapenos. My kids do not necessarily prefer them, so I don't put them in my kids. And I like chopped green onions, so I always put a few sliced green onions in there. You can put any toppings that you have on hand, and then always cheese. Today I'm using pre-shredded sharp cheddar cheese, but you could use Monterey Jack, you could use pepper jack, and here's one of my little tricks. I sprinkle a little extra cheese around the outside because it gets really brown and crispy, and that is one of my kids' favorite parts.
Yeah, so you might think you're making a mistake there, but you turn it into your advantage.
Oh, absolutely, but it's a purposeful mistake because that crispy cheese on the outside is my favorite. My kids will sometimes say, can I just have a piece of crispy cheese? And I'll like fry them a little mound of crispy cheese.
Oh.
This recipe, again, there's not a lot of ingredients. It's something that I consider a backup meal. A backup meal is anything that you can get on the table in 20 minutes or less with ingredients that you keep on hand all the time. And every family needs one or two backup meals because there's times when life is going to happen and you want to be able to get dinner on the table quickly. When I make this for my family, I often pull out my electric pancake griddle because I can get 2 or 3 quesadillas going at the same time, and that makes it even faster than just cooking it straight here on the skillet. I'm going to flip this one. And you can see that the cheese is kind of starting to melt on the outside. It's starting to get brown. It comes together really, really fast. And then if you want to zhuzh it up a little bit, you can serve it with some sour cream or some guacamole. I have found the magic of this little mini single packs of pre-made guacamole that you can buy in the grocery store. And they're so handy because they last for weeks in your refrigerator, so you can pull them out last minute. My kids like to take them in their lunches, and so that's kind of been my new go-to convenience product.
That's awesome. So easy. This took just a few minutes, like you said, to throw together. It's going to be done here before the segment's over.
It's going to be done before the segment's over, and honestly, I use a nonstick skillet, so there's no added extra oil.
Yeah.
And they're really simple and easy. If you want to add some pre-cooked chicken, like remember I made that lemon chicken a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
You could use that. And then the easiest thing to cut this with is a pizza cutter. I've got this great cutting board from lazycarpenter.com, and I usually cut these into 6 slices. Sometimes they're exactly even, sometimes they're not, but a pizza cutter is the best thing to cut a quesadilla with. Shane, what do you think? Did you get a taste of it?
I've been eating it over here, and the cheese on the outside totally adds so much. But I noticed that you didn't put butter or anything like that on the tortilla.
No, I didn't put any, because I'm using a nonstick skillet, and it'll get crispy on its own just with the heat of the skillet. If you wanted to make it an extra decadent thing, you could add a little butter, but I feel like for a weeknight, fast, quick, and easy meal, I don't want all the extra butter, and there's enough fat with the cheese that I just serve it straight up. And it's just a quick and easy meal for your family.
You got to start keeping refried beans all the time in the pantry.
Yeah, very smart. A couple staples, and you're good.
Right, a couple staples and you're good. And you know what? The cheese can keep in the freezer too. You can actually take that pre-shredded bag of cheese and put it into the freezer, and you can pull it out and just put it straight on this frozen. So everything can come straight out of the freezer or your pantry. If you happen to have the extras, you can add them. If you don't, dinner's still served.
I bought a 5-pound bag of cheese on Friday, and my wife yelled at me like, what are we going to do with all this cheese? I'll just tell her to put it in the freezer.
Totally.
So.
Yep, absolutely. Marie said so.
You can find so many more tips and recipes like this, where if you're in a pinch and you just need to make something really fast, she's got lots of recipes there at feedyourfamilytonight.com, or join that Facebook group as well by the same name. You can just ask for advice there too, and people will have all kinds of ideas for you.
Oh, I'm always there to help, and I love answering questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it for you.
Marie, thank you so much. We'll see you next week right here on Good Morning Cakeland. We'll be back.